The war has now come to here, to the centre of Beirut. These two explosions, the two Israeli bombs, were about a kilometre or so from where we are. The ABC team, we were out last night around the corner having a pizza for dinner, and a few streets away, these two explosions, and we could see people in the streets starting to panic and looking at their phones, etc. And the Israelis struck two residential buildings, one in the neighbourhood of Naweri and one in a neighbourhood of Basti, which is essentially the centre of Beirut. It would be like the Israelis or somebody dropping two bombs on Collins Street in Melbourne or George Street in Sydney. This is one of the most densely populated parts, a lot of apartment building there. The devastation is just extraordinary. We heard ambulances up and down through the night. Lots of people are buried under the rubble. The Israelis say, the Israeli media says that the Israelis were bombing to try to kill someone called Wafik Safar, a senior Hezbollah figure who appears to have escaped, if he was there.
Right, and have we had anything really officially from either the IDF or from Hezbollah about what the intended target was, or whether there's been any success?
Yeah, there was nothing official really from either side. There was no warning for this. What's happening here at the moment is if the Israelis are targeting weapons supplies in certain buildings, they are often giving a warning to people in the building, 15 minutes or so to evacuate. However, if they are targeting, and paramedics have told me this, Lebanese paramedics, if the Israelis are trying to kill a Hezbollah commander, they don't give any warning. Now the death toll here is rising. As I say, the very centre, this is downtown Beirut, and so it's really rocked people here. In fact, you could see people last night in the streets, a palpable sense of panic, because up until now the bombing has mainly been the last few weeks in those southern suburbs of Beirut, which are strongholds of Hezbollah. This has now brought the war right into the heart of this city, and I think after a 15-year civil war that Lebanese went through from 1975 to 1990, it's the last thing the civilians here want. And yet again, like in Gaza, the civilian death toll is rising dramatically under Israeli bombing.
The United Nations says that the IDF has also reportedly hit several UN positions in Lebanon, including a watchtower. Has Israel offered any explanation about what went on here?
Israel is saying that this was a Hezbollah area and that they were targeting Hezbollah fighters. This was the UNIFIL, the United Nations peacekeeping group, who've been here for a long time, and they have soldiers from around the world who are in the southern part of Lebanon, and their role essentially is to try to ensure no fighting between Israelis and Lebanese or Hezbollah. And it appears, according to UNIFIL, according to the United Nations, the Israeli army had told these UNIFIL soldiers to leave. UNIFIL have their own mandate, an international mandate. They said, no, we are here to do a job. And according to UNIFIL and the United Nations, an Israeli tank then lined up and fired at the peacekeepers, hitting one of their observation towers, and two of the soldiers who were from Indonesia fell from that and were injured. Now, Italy, which also has a few soldiers as part of this UNIFIL group, are saying that Israel's behaviour is intolerable, and Israel is saying they believe that Israel has been guilty of possible war crimes for this particular incident.
And John, the government here in Australia says the last evacuation flight will leave Beirut on Sunday. Obviously, there are more strikes around the Beirut city centre now. What's the sense you're getting on the ground? Is it safe for people, if they want to get to the airport?
Well, Nick, only a few days ago there was a strike. You might have seen the photographs of the smoke from an Israeli strike just next to the airport. There's really only one airline now that's flying in and out of this country, and that's Middle East Airlines, which is a Lebanese airline. Most of the other major airlines, Royal Jordanian, Emirates and them, won't fly in or out of here. Beirut at the moment, given a lot of the strikes, given a lot of the bombing is near the airport, a lot of people are worried even just in fact getting to the airport. And so probably the only safe part of this country at the moment, really, because the Israelis are bombing southern Lebanon, they're bombing southern suburbs of Beirut, central Beirut, Bekaa Valley, central Lebanon. The only safe part probably is the north, the very north of Lebanon, which is a Christian area. I'm in a Christian area here, which we deemed we'd stay here because it's relatively safe. And the fact that that bombing has come within a kilometre of us has certainly made people here in the suburb where I am, the Christian suburb, very nervous. So some people are worried about the trip to the airport, but that airport may well be closed soon. If the bombing continues near the airport, I'd be surprised if the Lebanese government doesn't say it's a risk, because you see the bombing, you see the smoke as the planes are coming in and out. I've never seen anything like it, where an airport, there's bombing near an airport and yet the planes are still taking on or off. Hopefully it won't happen, but you know, some of those planes are flying very near explosions and bombing.